I'm Tom Meredith, and I wear a few hats. I like to say I'm making the world better by through the intersection of design and technology. At ArtCenter College of Design, we have an interactive design program that does prototyping and interface. Um, but let me just kind of walk you through a few things here. So I'm Tom Meredith, and that's kind of what I look like when I'm not in the middle of quarantine. And I do wear a lot of hats here. So in the past, I worked at the Los Angeles Times Magazine for the last hurrah. Worked on the print and the digital formats, and I designed, developed, and produced the website and the iPad app for over 5 years. I'm partner and CTO at Clay here in Frogtown, down the street. If you guys ever been to Wax Paper, one of the best sandwich shops in the world, that's right next door to my office. Unfortunately, I can't visit the office, but I have a beautiful shot of it right behind my head right now. And at Clay, we build really fun things. One of the most notable was the UCLA School of Music, which took 19 different websites and merged them into one. It's one of the newest schools at UCLA. They haven't had a new school in 19 years, and it was quite a feat with thousands and thousands of pages of content. Also, I think you just mentioned that I'm the adjunct faculty at ArtCenter. I've been there for over 11 years now, and I've been teaching interaction design to designers on how to prototype and code. And I really prefer to call myself a design technologist, since my work really overlaps between creative and the engineered. And I started programming in 1993, really got enamored by it. And I don't know if you ever started on the web with AOL and the old dial-up modem. That's really what kept me motivated for the last over 25 years now. But I really want to share with you what we're doing at ArtCenter. We definitely believe that the Steve Jobs quote, that everybody in this country should learn to program a computer because it teaches you how to think. And that's really my philosophy here. When I started teaching more than a decade ago, I wanted to share my knowledge and help graphic designers understand how to think about their static designs in the interactive format. My curriculum evolved, and so did the school. We introduced a degree program for interaction design in the last 6 years to prepare students for a career in the up-and-coming field. We had all these large tech companies that were demanding designers who focused solely on interaction design and user experience. Most designers in the past, they came from various degree programs with a passion for psychology or anthropology, for instance, and they were determined to make digital products less frustrating and easier to use, luckily for us. But one of the skills that we felt was required was programming. It allows the students to realize their ideas past the normal static prototypes, and it allows them to create fully reactive user experiences on multiple devices. There's another course at ArtCenter that I took when I went there many years ago when I graduated with graphic design degree. And it's called Materials of Art and Design. It has nothing to do with code or pixels or anything. It's actually completely using your hands. And in this class, students are introduced to bandsaws and lathes, sanding equipment, paint booths, and ultimately safety, right? And with these skills, they can use their hands to create 3D objects and realize their ideas. So in a way, my class is kind of like that. I'm not really trying to create engineers. Like that other class is not really trying to create wood craftsmen, and this is not a CS course in any way. I really don't care about security or multi-platforms or if it renders correctly on Edge. Really, it's an introduction to client-server architecture, HTML markup, CSS presentation, JavaScript interaction. And most of my students have never coded before, but after 14 weeks, they produce amazing projects. And then ultimately, why JavaScript here? Why did I choose JavaScript to teach? When I started teaching many years ago, we actually started with a different platform. And most of the websites didn't really have a lot of interaction. They were page-based, and you would click on a page and it would render a new page, and that was it. And that's what the students really cared about. But in the last 5 years, that's grown more into multi-screen state-based interactions. Students come in and they want to work on an app. They want to experience something on their phone. They design things that move and behave in unique ways. So I really had to retool my syllabus. And I felt that teaching JavaScript with a NextJS framework with GraphQL as a data source would allow my students to be exposed to many technologies that they could use for future projects. And they can also even, like we talked earlier, we can build Electron projects or React Native if they were so inclined. Also, I felt that JavaScript was easy to get started and extremely powerful. I see the future headed in the way of JavaScript more and more, front end and back end with, obviously React and Next and Node.js for back end and all the teams that might be working with on the JavaScript team. So I teach and encourage my students to find answers to their issues online, to make sure that they know how to self-learn, and also make sure they understand that the fundamentals they are learning here can and will be applied to other languages, and also will teach them how to be better designers and collaborators with developers in the future. And ultimately, why should you care, right? You guys are all developers out there in that rambly world, or maybe on Twitch, but I think that all of us have worked together with designers who present designs that maybe aren't completely thought through, or maybe they don't make sense and they have to be refactored or rethought about, or maybe they're extremely blue sky, they don't really understand what goes behind building something of that caliber. But they don't really understand what we do or how long it takes or why their design needs to be changed for various reasons. But after my course, the students have more empathy for what developers bring to the table. They have a shared language that hopefully allows for better communications and empathy too. But also, I firmly believe that once a brilliant mind has more tools at their disposal, they can push the boundaries and we will all have better digital products as a whole.